Welcome to the Centre for Legal Innovation's Legal Techy Tuesday series. We are very excited to have Kate Clark, CEO of Enhanced Litigation Management Solutions, or ELMS for short, here with us today. Kate will be demonstrating Everchron, a collaboration case management platform for litigators. Again, welcome. Great to have you all here. And now over to Kate.
Thanks, Christine. That was a wonderful, wonderful welcome. And hello to everybody who's joining our webinar today. Today, I've got some really exciting tech to show you. It's a new case collaboration tool, which is really efficient for building chronology. So let's get stuck in so we can see what it does for you. So just a bit of who I am. My name's Kate Clark and I'm the CEO of ELMS. And really, myself and every one of my team are completely self-confessed geeks. So we won't apologise for that. We think there's no shame in that anymore. But we certainly love our tech and we certainly love to talk about it. So I've got nearly 30 years experience working with lawyers in law firms and through e-discovery providers, and pretty much have grown up with litigators throughout my working career. And the benefit of that to our clients is that our team has a really in-depth knowledge of the litigation process, which we think is essential to help our clients and add the most value. And we know how to use the technology to make your lives easier. So we're a boutique e-discovery consulting firm, and our passion is really to solve problems and find solutions for our clients. And luckily we get to do that all the time because data changes on a daily basis. So we're going to help you to tell your client's story using our tech and our skill sets as consultants to really get you to your facts fast. We assist with the management of documents in litigation, usually once pleadings are settled and you're starting to identify those document sources for potentially relevant documents. And then we continue right through to the e-trial process. We're going to help you understand the tech and how you can get the best out of it to help you get the outcome that you need. So you should really think of us as your e-discovery on-demand team. You use us when you need us, and we're always ready there to help you whenever you do need us. So how can we help you? Well, there's lots of ways that we can help you. Firstly, we help lawyers and their clients by managing the documents in litigation right from the start of the matter once the pleadings are finalised. And it's really important to engage with us early so that we can help you to organise your documents from the start, which will benefit everyone throughout the entire litigation process. We're going to teach you how to work with the technology and streamline your legal review process to locate the key documents fast and efficiently. And we're going to show you which bits of the technology will make your life easier, and we're going to sit beside you while you learn. We typically get involved in the disclosure process, but given our experience, we know or have seen most of the tasks litigators complete and can usually help you make those tasks less painful. More recently, we've started to focus on making the chronology building process more efficient, which is what we're talking about today. This new technology, Everchron, will take your chronologies to the next level and combine lots of other processes you complete, like preparing witness and issue bundles, into one collaborative platform so that everything you need is all in one place. So why would you use a specific tool to build a chronology? Well, as you would all know, litigators prepare a chronology on nearly every matter that they work on, and this process can be extremely time-consuming and costly, and it really has a lot of moving parts. So if we can make it more efficient and get you a better outcome for your client, then we really think that's worth exploring. Most lawyers these days use Word or Excel to build a chronology, which is what we did up till about 9 months ago. We now use a piece of technology called Everchron, which is specifically designed for chronology building and which really takes your chronology to a new level and adds lots of functionality to it. Let's now take a look at the problems with preparing chronologies in Word and Excel, and then we're going to show you a solution for a more advanced chronology building process. So there's lots and lots of problems with building chronologies in Word and Excel. We're going to start with the preparation of chronologies. So a senior lawyer would typically task a junior with preparing a chronology for their matter. The junior goes around and locates the documents, reviews them, and starts to prepare the chronology in Word. The senior lawyer doesn't know at this stage, but this junior hasn't had a lot of experience with chronologies and isn't quite sure on how to prepare one, but does her best based on the knowledge she has at the time. The senior lawyer thinks that a chronology is taking a really long time, so she puts another junior on the task and splits up the document in half. The second junior then starts to prepare the chronology, and he's had quite a bit of experience, so he knows how to prepare it in the style that the senior requires. And then once both of the junior lawyers have completed their sections, that very helpful person, who is normally your very, very patient secretary, if you're lucky enough to have one, combines those documents into one chronology and sends it off to the senior lawyer for review. The senior lawyer then reviews the chronology and notices that there are two very different styles within the document, which needs to be corrected in the next review. She also makes comments on the Word documents for the juniors to find extra documents and summarises the content in a little different way. Then she sends the chronology back to the junior lawyers for correction. This is already getting a very time-consuming process. The junior lawyers answer any of the comments the seniors made on the document where they can, and they find the relevant documents. They correct the inconsistencies in format and send it back to the helpful person again to combine into one chronology for the senior lawyer to review. Now, the helpful person is getting pretty frustrated at this time because of the number of comments on the documents and the inconsistent summarization and formatting within the document. But of course, they push ahead because the client wants to review the work product in the near future. The senior lawyer then reviews the comments, makes some final edits, and sends the document to her client to add further entries and answer comments that the legal team have not been able to answer. The client is finding it really difficult to find the comments that are specific to him to edit, so has to review all of the comments on every page to locate the ones that he needs to answer. Now, there are some comments that he's not able to answer, so he sends it on to his colleague to help him in his organisation to see if he can answer those questions for him. Then he adds further comments and extra chronology entries himself to assist with the preparation of the chronology, and he sends two documents back to the senior lawyer, one with his edits and one with his colleagues. The senior lawyer then reviews the edits, finalises the chronology where she can, and sends it on to that beautiful, helpful person to combine the two documents and make everything consistent. The helpful person spends hours and hours getting the formatting consistent and combining the documents. And once that is done, as you would expect, she's going to do a little happy dance because she doesn't have to spend time amending this chronology document anymore. Now, this is a pretty typical workflow for a chronology, and as you'll appreciate, it can be really very time-consuming and costly to produce a chronology and really inefficient. Imagine if there was a product that could fix all of these problems for you. Well, ta-da, there is. So here is the solution. It's called Everchron. So what is really great about Everchron is that everyone is working on the same chronology at the same time. It cuts out the process of combining the chronologies if you've had to put more than one person on the job. It also cuts out the need to reformat the document every time someone edits it. It is always up to date and in one easy spot for you to look at, your client to look at, or anyone else you want to provide that chronology to. Your whole team, including your client and other external parties, can see the chronology being built in real time. Let's quickly talk about a bit of geeky stuff. So Everchron utilizes bank-grade security, and it encrypts data and documents in transit and at rest to ensure secure collaboration at all times. And you can rest assured that your documents will always be stored in Australia by Amazon Web Services. So Everchron is a collaborative case management tool. Everything that you need, everything that really matters to your case is going to be right at your fingertips all the time. The master file feature will enable you to keep track of and collaborate around all of your case management documents like pleadings, court orders, submissions, expert reports, key correspondence, and everything is going to be really organised and easily accessible by yourselves and your client. The chronology functionality will enable you to prepare a chronology efficiently and let you take a really deep dive into your facts, key documents, and events, and work as a team to build the story of your case with dynamic real-time chronology building. The profile feature will enable you to automatically generate and update advanced witness and issue bundles in real time, instantly forming connections between witnesses, documents, and issues. And to top it all off, you can easily export hyperlink bundles of documents in a matter of minutes. Everything that you need is all in one place. So now we're going to head over and give you a little demo of the actual product, but I just wanted to say firstly that the documents that we've used as part of this demonstration are publicly available from the Grenfell Tower Inquiry website. Hopefully you can all see Everchron on your screen. And the first thing you'll notice is it's a really pleasing interface to look at. On the left-hand side, you will see the matters that you have access to. So if you had 10 matters here, they would be listed simply down on the left-hand side. And today we are going to go into the Grenfell Tower inquiry, but we've added our demo matter just to show you that you can have multiple matters to look at. So in the middle section here, there is just a little summary area where you can add information about your matter. And you'll notice there are lots of different ways you can use the formatting tools to identify bits in the summary that are really important. For instance, we've used some italics, underlining, bolding. We've added a hyperlink to the Grenfell Tower inquiry website, and we've added some key deadlines down the bottom. So you can have pretty much any information you would like here. It's just a really good summary snapshot of what this particular case is about. And then if we move to this next section, it tells you all of the parties that are involved in the matter. So you can either add your parties in this section, or you can add them into the profile section in Everchron, which I'll take you through in a moment. So that's a really good place to just summarize the information about the matter. And it's a nice, clean interface. It's a very intuitive product to use. So hopefully you will enjoy us moving around the product now. Now you'll notice as we've selected the Grenfell Tower inquiry, these 4 tabs are now available for this particular matter. So we're going to take you through these 4 tabs now. Of course, we've got the chronology feature, which helps you build a chronology. We've got our master file functionality to store case management documents. We've got our witness profile section, and we've got our documents tab. Today, we're going to start with the master file because I think that's the first logical place you should start. So the master file is pretty much just a virtual folder structure. And you can have as many folders and subfolders as you like. So if you've got an existing structure that you like to keep on your network for your particular litigation matters, you can have that structure within this system. I'm just going to pop into this folder down below, which is the typical litigation folder structure. So these are the types of things you would store in this particular area. And why this is so beneficial is that if you add your client to this, you can keep everything really organized for them in one place. So they don't have to troll through their inbox, through their network drive, through their document management systems. Everything that they will need that relates to case management of your case will appear in this folder structure. So it's a nice, simple structure. The colors do indicate which party the folder relates to, so you can use some color coding to get you a little bit more information about the folder. And it's obviously very easy to add a folder. You simply just click on this Add a Folder button in the top right-hand corner. You type the name of the folder, and you click Add Folder. You can add information about it. Sorry, I will add a new folder. I've obviously added one that's already called New Folder. You can add a folder. And then you can drag and drop some documents into that particular folder. So if I go back to this home level, you should now see the new folder down the bottom. So as you can see, it's really simple to add a folder to this particular folder structure. You can also search across this folder structure, and I will show you an example of that now. So I'm searching for the word protocol within the documents within this folder structure. And what is really great about the searching in Everchron is that it tells you where it is. So this is telling me that the word protocol does exist in the content or the full text of the documents. There are also document types with the type of protocol. The word protocol also exists in the headline or the title of the document. And there is also a folder called protocol. So you simply will know that this word does actually appear somewhere. And if I want to search within the documents, I would simply select full text, and up would come all the documents that have the word protocol in it. So the searching in this particular system is very easy. If I want to close out that, I just click on that little X next to the button. There's also these quick links, which I'm going to show you in another area, but these quick links and date filters on the side so that you can get from a large amount of documents to a small amount of documents very quickly. And it really reduces the need for you to search across the document set, but I'll show you that in another area because it's a bit more effective. You also then have the ability here to sort or order documents in a different way if you choose to. You can have the ability to perform bulk actions. So if I wanted to delete a couple of folders, I simply would select them on the left-hand side and hit remove, and those folders would be removed. If I wanted to add a tag to them or provide somebody guest access so they can only see a reduced set of documents, I could certainly do that. And if I wanted to export the documents in a fully hyperlinked spreadsheet, I could also do that. So there's lots of functionality in here that I'm going to show you in a different place just so it makes a little bit more sense. So now let's go to back to our master file. Sorry, let me just remove those two things so we can get out of there. So as you can see, it's a nice, well-ordered folder structure, and it's a really good place to store documents for your client to access or third parties to access, and to keep yourselves organized along the way. Now we're going to head over to the documents, which is where all the fun sort of starts. So the documents tab is where you load all of the documents that you would like to have in Everchron. Now, you don't put all of your disclosure documents in Everchron. You only put those key documents that you're going to want to rely on in court, or that you're going to want to analyze in a particular different way. And as you will see, what comes up is this nice structured interface with the date on the left-hand side, the type of the document, which is fully editable. It'll give it a unique identifier or an Everchron ID so that we can always track where the document came from. It shows you whether the document has been rated and whether it is good for your case, which is the green up arrow, down, bad for your case, which is the red down arrow, or mixed for your case, which is just represented by an orange line. So that gives you a really good overview of how important this document is within the system. It shows you the title of the document or the excerpt, which is very helpful. And then on the right-hand side, it gives you some general information of how this document is interacting with other parts of Everchron. So for instance, this particular document has 2 profiles or 2 witnesses associated with the document. 2 tags have been applied to this document. The document exists in one location in the Documents tab, and it's got 3 comments applied to it. So if you wanted to take a snapshot look at what all of that information means, you simply just click on one of these little 4 icons here, and up will come some summary information down the bottom. And this just gives you a little bit more insight into the document if you don't want to view the actual document by itself. So it shows you the tags that have been applied to it, the people or the profiles that have been associated with it, what documents are linked to this particular document. It shows you how it's rated and its favorability. It gives you the little summary snippet that the lawyers would go in and add when they're adding to their chronology. It shows you where it's sitting within the location in the master file. And then it shows you also what comments, sorry, I just clicked on the wrong button, which shows you what comments have been applied to the document. So it just gives you a little snip of exactly what you're looking at with respect to this particular document. Now, I'm just going to show you now how quick and easy it is to add a document to this section, just to show you the types of objective coding that you might need to do when you add a document. So to add a document, you click on this green Add a Document button here on the right-hand side, and up will come the document screen. Got a bit of a whirling. There we go. Beautiful. Now on the left-hand side is the area where you will browse or drag and drop your file. So let's browse for a file. And I'm just going to select one off my network. And that document is currently being uploaded. And you'll see here this little circle that's spinning around the document. That tells you that the document is being made text searchable. So that's certainly one of the features of Everchron that it does make documents searchable. So if you had a set of PDF documents that were not searchable, it can certainly help you to be able to search across those documents in Everchron. Now, we're currently in the metadata tab, which is represented by this little cylinder of circles thing. And what you need to do is add information that relates to this particular document so simply that it will sort correctly in the chronology if you add this document to the chronology. Now, when you upload a document, it'll put the date that you've uploaded in this field. So what the first thing you probably need to do is just change the date so that it's an accurate date on the face of the document. Now, obviously, this was not created in the 1200. I'm just trying to make it appear at the top of my document list so you can see it in the next screen. You might then want to add what type of document it's in. So let's say this is a table. Oh, that document type already exists. If you had a document type that you typed there and it didn't exist, it would enable you to create it. You then want to edit the headline so that it removes anything on the end. So the headline will come in as the file name of the actual document. So you might want to give it a more descriptive headline so that when you look at it in the list, it makes a little bit more sense. And the only other thing that I think you should absolutely do is to create, to add a profile to it. So let's just say that I'm the author of this document, because I actually am. I would add my profile to it. And what that means is that when we show you the profile section later, and I click on my name, this particular document will come up. So we're just now associating a document to a person, which is a really helpful thing to do. And then you just click save and close. Done, and then close. And that document has now been added to the Documents tab up the top here. So that is how simple and easy it is to add a document to Everchron. So you can drag and drop, you can browse and select, you can drag and drop, well, you will be able to drag and drop a folder structure at some stage, not at this particular point, but in the very near future. So it's really easy to get documents in there. Now, there's a couple of ways you can get documents in. You can either use the tool by yourself and just drag and drop, but what that means is that you're going to have to objectively code the document date, the title, all those types of information. If you're currently using a litigation database and you've got your key documents in there, you could simply export them and import them into Everchron, which would fill out a lot of that information for you, which would reduce the amount of objective coding you do. So it's going to really save you some time. Another alternative might be to use the power of the litigation database to extract all of the metadata so that when you pull it into Everchron, you don't need to objectively code anything. So that's certainly a third option. There's lots of options you can do to reduce the amount of time it takes you to get documents in and out. Now I'm going to show you how to add a document to the chronology so that you can see how quick and easy that is well. So I'm going to click on this particular document here. And what you will notice about this document is that it is now enabled a button in the right-hand side here that says add to chronology. So the first thing we're going to do is add this to the chronology, and then it gets me to confirm I want to do that, and I say yes, please add that to the chronology, and you get a little note down the bottom to tell you that is done, which is very helpful. While we're on this screen, we're just going to go through the document screen so you can see exactly what functionality you have available to you. So the first screen is the analysis tab. Sorry, I've just clicked on that. So what the analysis tab enables you to do is analyze the document at a certain level. So you might add all of your information, all of the documents that you want in the chronology to the chronology, and then you might use the analysis tab to add some real value to those particular documents. So let's say this is a really important document, so we're going to rate it 4 stars, and we're going to say it's good for our case. So that's the first bit of analysis. We like that title document, so we're going to leave that as it is. Now, one of the lawyers has added some tags for us. So they've tagged this to the chairman's response or the chronology file progress. If you want to add another tab, you simply just type the start of it and click it if it's there. If not, it'll ask you, do you want to create that particular tag? And you just say yes or no to that if you want to create a new tag. So the only suggestion we would make with tags is you really need to sit with your team and agree what other tags are going to be used, because everybody can create them on the fly. So you could create a scenario where you've got 3 tags that are generally the same name, but generally the same purpose, but just worded a little differently. So you really need to do a bit of planning when it comes to tags. The next section is the summary section, and this is where it will appear as the summary in the chronology. So you might, this is the bit where you want to be quite, specific about what you want to put in here. So this, a lawyer's just gone in here and typed some information for me, but I don't really like typing. So what I'm simply going to do is copy and paste the text. So you select the text and you go copy and paste, and the text comes in all nicely. So instead of having to type it yourself, you can use the functionality of the system to do that for you. So that is going to save you a large amount of time. And then you might decide, oh, well, I actually want to make that a quote if it was a quote. So you can make that particular document a quote. Or you might decide I want to bold it or highlight it or strike it through. Lots of functionality there for the formatting of documents. But what's really great about this particular section is that you can add ordered lists. So if you've got task lists that you want people to do, you can use that ordered list section, or this is my favorite function ever, you can add a task list. So you can have task 1, task 2, and this might be, find that document and then talk to someone else about the particular document, excuse me. So you can add tasks, and then the lawyers can come in and tick these off when they're done. And then the next thing you might want to do is insert a table. So it's really easy to use the formatting within this summary section, and it's a really effective way to manage this process of commenting and adding and all of those types of things you do along the way. Now, as I said before, you might also want to relate a profile to this. So this might not necessarily be a document that you've created, but you might want to associate it with a particular profile so that when you look at that witness's profile, this document comes up under their name. You also have the feature to be able to link a document to this particular document. So What that means is if you're looking at this document in the chronology, you would have an automatic link to this secondary document, which can be very helpful. There's also a feature which is called cloning, where you can clone an entry in the database. So if I've got this document and I want to refer to page 3 of it, I can actually create a cloned entry and go from page 3. And then when I click on the document, it'll come up to page 3, which is really helpful if you're referring to a particular section within a report, or you're referring to an email at the bottom of an email chain. So that's where we use the clone feature very frequently. I'm just going to save our changes on this particular document and go back up the top. Now we've already gone through the metadata tab where you can change the date, the type, and the actual title of the document. And there is lots of other fields you can complete or choose not to complete, which are listed in that particular metadata tab, and that would be up to the requirements of your particular matter. The next feature that is just really fantastic is the ability to annotate the documents. So let's say we want to highlight some text in here. So we tick on our highlighter and we highlight the text and it will come out yellow. And then we can do some analysis on that particular piece of text. So we might want to say this is favorably very good for our case, or bad, depending on how it is. And you might want to also apply some further tags to this particular annotation and search on for those tags later. So I've added a tag. And then you might want to add a comment to it because you want someone else to look at it. So I would say this is a comment, and I would say I want Kate to look at it. So I'm going to put Kate's initials in there so that I can search for all comments containing Kate's initials later on down the track when I need to. So it's a really good way to be able to annotate and select information. You also have the ability to, of course, draw a yellow box. You've got lots of colors you can change it to. It's all fully text searchable. So once you've created an annotation, you can produce an annotation report, or you can search across the annotations that are there. So it's very, very helpful. And the next one down is related items. So if you have a family attachment, so if you had a host email and family items or attachments to that email, they would appear in this list here. And sorry, but I skipped over comments. So this is the ability to comment to or from people about this particular document. And of course, you can fully text search across these comments. So there's a really good commenting section, and I think it is far more effective than what you can do in Word or Excel, which is a little bit clunky. Then the next thing you might want to do, of course, is to search a document. So you can search within a document, and it will, of course, highlight the words for you. And if you want to go to the next, if there's more than one highlights, it'll take you, you can just skip down to the next one and the next one and the next one. So that's very helpful. Then in the top right-hand corner, we have the ability to zoom in on the document or rotate it clockwise or counterclockwise, which you may or may not need to do depending on the orientation of the document. It'll tell you if it is text searchable. And this particular function here is the sharing function. So if someone has got access to Everchron, you can share the document with them, and they will be able to log in using their login details. You can download the document and email it. You could print an excerpt report, which will give you information that you've coded against this document. You can copy a link and put that into an email if you want, or you could share it via email. So there's lots of ways to share a document in Everchron, and it will depend on whether the person you're sharing with has access to Everchron or not. So very easy to navigate around. And then the next thing is the navigation. So obviously, if you just click next, you will navigate through the documents as you go, which is very helpful. Let's now close that document tab. And now we're going to head over to the chronology tab where I added that particular document. Okay, so this is the document that we just added from the documents tab. So we took the document, we uploaded it, we added it to the document section, and now we've added it to the chronology. So again, a beautiful interface to look at, and exactly what you would expect from a chronology. You have the date of the document and everything is ordered by the date. You have the type of document that the document is. So if it's an event, so you can add in an event which has no document attached to it, which is very helpful. Sometimes when we are talking to lawyers about workflow, we would say add an event and then add a tag for someone to go find that document. So you might have an event which had a meeting request, an email meeting request, which you might want to add it, and then you might have an acceptance request for that. You might want to also add that. So you can add events with no documents, which is helpful. The next one over is your summary information. So at the top of it is your headline or your title of the document, and then any summary information that you've added against the document. So when we were talking about the problems with building chronologies in Word or Excel, we talked about multiple people being involved in the process and the ability for your secretary to then combine all of those documents. This feature just takes out that entire process, which is very helpful. And another really good point is that if your senior lawyer is reviewing the chronology in real time, she's going to be able to pick up those inconsistencies in summarization or things that aren't quite right and correct the people who are doing those entries straight away, as opposed to having to look at it when it's 30 pages deep in a Word document and the problem's really big. So it gives you the ability to look at the chronology in real time and correct any problems you have along the way. In addition to that, it gives your client the ability to look at the document being prepared real time. And why that is really good is because then you can share it with your client and they can get someone at their organization to help build the chronology at their end if that's what you need them to do. So you might say, I think this happened, I need a document that supports this, and then the person who had that document can go in, add the document and summarize the entry for you. So it gives you the ability to collaborate with your client or other lawyers within your firm in order to get your chronology built in a very quick period of time. Then, of course, again, on the right-hand side, it'll give you the rating of the document and whether it's good or bad for you, how many profiles associated with it, how many tags are associated to it, how many comments are made on the document, and the last one is if it's got any linked documents. So it gives you some really good summarized information about the document. And of course, you can export all of this information out very simply and easily. And I'll show you an example of that after this particular session. So as I scroll through, you will see how all the different types of formatting you can do, which is very helpful in the summary field. What we have coming up is for construction type matters, you're going to have the ability to do a little snip of a plan or a particular construction process and add that into the summary so that you can see visual pictures as well as everything else. So as I scroll through, you can see it's a very clean interface. Everything is very organized. It's very easy to understand. You can also add links. So in this particular case, we've linked off to an external website, but you could link to another bundle of documents, or you could link to a tag within Everchron. So there's lots of functionality that enable you to move around the platform very easily and quickly. And what you'll see here now, we're coming down to the report section, are these clone documents that I referred to earlier. So we imported a report into the chronology, and we wanted to go to a particular page within that report. And again, this is really useful for reports, but it's also very helpful when you are referring to an email within an email chain. It saves all that time scrolling to find the entry that you're looking for. You can simply click on it and it'll take you to that particular page. So I'll just wait for this to load, and I think it should take me to page 10 of a 240-page document. So as you can see, I've clicked on the clone entry and it takes me to that particular page, which is really helpful. And it certainly saves time in navigating through the document set as you go. So cloning is something that we use quite frequently, and it is really, really helpful. But now that we're in the chronology, we better just cover off some searching. So again, if I search for the word COVID, the only place this exists in this database, in this set of documents is in the text. So I click on COVID and up comes the two documents that contain that particular word. If I want to get rid of that search term, I go back to my 79 documents. So the ability to be able to get from a large number of documents to a small number of documents very quickly is easy, easy, easy in this particular system. But what's now going to blow your mind is these quick links. So this is probably one of my favorite features. So you have the ability to anything that you've tagged in the database, any ratings or favorability you've done, any comments that you've added, any annotations, any information that you've added to the system, you can pretty much access from this quick links screen. And why that is very good is because it makes it so that you don't actually have to know how to search. It just intuitively knows how to search for you. So as you'll see here, we have 79 entries in our chronology. And now we're going to just take a look at the 4-star rated good documents. So we've got 7 entries listed in the database that have been rated 4-star good for you. So we got from 79 to 7 really, really quickly. So if you rate your documents when you're doing your analysis, when you've added them to your chronology, you can use this functionality to get to those documents very quickly. I'm going to untick those particular things now, and we're going to move down the page. So what we might want to look at now is maybe anything that has annotations on it. So if you click annotations, you will see all of the documents that contain annotations. So I'll close that off so we can get rid of that. And then you might want to look at, so we've built our master chronology of 79 documents. And now we might want to look at the documents that we've tagged in an issue-based chronology for fire progress. So we've created this tag and we've tagged 13 documents to this particular sub-chronology. So if we tick on that tag, up will come those 13 documents. So you can very quickly build your issue-based chronologies and your master chronology at one time. So it's really effective to be able to use your tagging system to create different bundles of documents based on that one entire set. So that is a really helpful feature. You can also, in this particular section here, do a bit of date filtering, and I'll just wait till my documents load. Let me go here. So you can filter by, of course, date and time. So you've got lots of date options there that you can filter by. You can do date ranges, all sorts of things. And it'll show you the search operators as well. So you can do on, after, before, within a range or in a particular year. So let's go the 1950. So you can see how this works. Where are you? 50. Apply. Now we'll get to any document that is dated in the 1950s. So if you need to search by a date, this is a really good system to enable you to do that. And we'll just clear that particular filter. Now, the next thing, you can, of course, add a document here if you need to add a document too, and it's as simple as drag and drop like we showed you earlier. Now, if you want to perform some bulk functions on these particular document set, you simply click this bulk action spanner here. You select the documents that you want to put a bulk function on, and it might be to export these documents. So if I wanted to export these documents, I have lots and lots of options. I can export as a fully hyperlinked spreadsheet with all of the documents attached, which would be really great if you just wanted to send a subset of documents to an expert. You could bundle them up, zip them up in an archive file and send them off to your experts, knowing that as soon as he unpacks that file, he's going to be able to click on the hyperlink and up will come that particular document. You can export just the index of documents that are in the list, which will pretty much give you all of the information that is on the screen. You can do that in a PDF format, or you can do an excerpt report. So there's lots of functionality to be able to export very quickly. And I think that's one thing that law firms generally struggle with, is the ability to get information out and in very quickly. So, you know, you might have one client that you want to give the master chronology to, and if you don't want to share it through Everchron, you could export those documents off of the master chronology. And then you might have a particular client who is related to one particular issue. So you might just want to give them a subset of documents that relates to that issue. So again, you can select those documents in the list and export them off for that particular client. So the functionality, the exporting functionality is really great. You might also want to give a barrister access to a certain subset of documents, and we would use the guest accessibility here, and that would give them the ability to view documents, but not necessarily add any value or add any content to them. You could change the star rating in this area. You can add bulk tags if you want to, which, you know, might be very helpful if you want, you know, one particular lawyer to check to find documents that relate. Well, then you could certainly do that and click apply. And it will say, do you want to add this tag? So it's now added those particular tags. And then you can edit bulk functions on the document. So you might want to make everything as a rating a change or a favorability change. So you can do lots and lots of things there. If you want to remove these documents for the chronology, you simply just remove them. It won't delete them from this area. It'll just remove them from the chronology. So that's a really helpful functionality. So let me unselect that. We'll go back to normal. Thank you. You can obviously sort and filter by different components here, which is very helpful if you need to, but generally people view the chronology in the manner it's meant to view, and that's chronological order. So that's a very, very nice intuitive interface. The system is very easy to use. Adding documents is easy, coding documents is easy. If you can reduce the amount of coding that you need to do by using the functionality from a litigation database, we would certainly say that is best practice. And that will mean you don't have to code any information about any documents. And that's going to become very clear very shortly when I show you the profile section. So this is the witness profile analysis tool. So what you will see on the page now is that we have added some documents, we've added them to the chronology, and we've created some analysis pieces. So one of that bit of analysis was to assign a person's name to a particular document. And when we do that, it creates a profile in this area. And the reason why that is really good is because you can now analyze documents compared to people, compared to issues in one nice interface, really easy to use. So this is the dashboard, and what you'll see at the top here is the top people and entities that are related to the chronology. So it shows you how many items each entity has or person and what tag it's in. So you could switch to documents or you could switch to the chronology, and the information will update depending on where you are looking at in the system. And then it will show you what are the related issues to those top people in the top people and entities section. So you can get a little overview of what are the top people and entities and what are the issues that relate to those particular people. Again, on the right-hand side, you have your quick links and your filters and the ability to filter by group in this section, which I'll show you in a minute. Very, very helpful. Now, on the left-hand side, you have a list of all of the profiles that have been created in this particular matter. Now, we wouldn't normally put the counsel, expert, government, we wouldn't normally put them here. We just made it, we did it in this particular way so that it would be clear exactly what we're looking at. And the people we're going to look at today are the really top interesting people that we have said are our key witnesses. So we're going to click on this little star important here, and it's going to show us all of the key people. So I'm just going to tick that off again. So you can see we've got from 41 profiles. Now we're down to our key witnesses. So we got from a large number of profiles just down to 4 in a very short period of time. And the first thing we're going to have a look at is the chairman for the inquiry, so Martin Morbick. So you see you'll have the ability to add his photo to start with. So that's a really good indicator that you can have a connection to a photograph within the system. And the first thing we're going to look at is the notes section. So we use this notes section to record information about that individual. So you might want to record his employment history, any information about him that might be relevant, who he reports to him, so that you can get a really good analysis of what is important about this particular person. And I know in a lot of your matters that you go and prepare a dramatis persona for each witness. So this is certainly where you would put that information. And of course, you can export it as you can with everything else in the system. Now we're going to have a look at his profile information. So this just gives you a snapshot about this individual and where their documents are sitting within Everchron. So within the document tabs, within the documents tab, the chairman has 7 documents that have been added to his profile. And it gives you a little snapshot on their rating and whether they are favourable or not to your case. And then in the bottom section, it shows you what documents have been associated to this particular person. So when we created these documents, we put him as, he was included as someone who was associated to these documents, so these documents would appear here. So pretty much this is his witness bundle of documents, which you can export out any document that is associated to him. So that is very helpful. Then if we flick over to the chronology, he's actually got 18 entries in the chronology, which indicates to us that he's got lots of documents in the chronology that must be just events, not necessarily having a document associated with them. And again, you get the same type of analysis as to the rating and whether they're good or bad for you. So that is helpful. And then we have a look at the analysis tab. And what this now does is tell us what issues are associated to this particular witness. So this particular witness has 3 top issues that are associated to him, it's very helpful from an analysis point of view. So now we're looking at people and documents and issues and what are related to them. And then down the bottom here, it shows you what shared interactions this person is having and how often. So it records that by the number of documents. So he is the chairman of the inquiry, so you would anticipate that he's having a shared interaction with the Grenfell Tower inquiry itself, and he's got 6 documents that relate to that interaction. So that's helpful information. And on the right-hand side, we can see what roles he's been added to, what groups he's been added to, and we can also see all of the people that are associated to him. So these are the different people that work at the inquiry with the chairman, and we've associated their profiles so they all exist in one particular place. So that's really good, helpful information to have if you're looking at the profile of a certain individual. I'm now going to head over to this resident who was the first guy who called the fire brigade when the fire broke out at Grenfell Tower, and just have a bit of a look at his profile, because his is probably a bit more prolific than the chairman's. So he's actually got 119 documents that sit within the documents tab but aren't necessarily in the chronology, and they are generally his CCTV information. So you can import documents, spreadsheets, CCTV, all sorts of document types into Everchron, and they will work very beautifully. So you have no troubles with the types of documents that you want to have in here. And then when you look at his chronology tab, he's actually only got 3 chronology entries that are in the chronology. So you can print out a witness profile, you know, all the documents within your witness bundle, and you'll have a lot of documents, but they might not necessarily be in the chronology. So that's good information to have. And then we look at the analysis. We can see what tags have been associated to this particular resident. So he's obviously got 117 documents in his evidence bundle. He's got 10 documents related to his witness statements, and he's got 1 document for his 999 telephone calls, which is the night that he called the fire brigade. So he's got 1 CCT audio file there. So that's really helpful information. And then you can see on the right-hand side and down below is who he's interacting with. So this guy here is his counsel, and we have associated his profile so that we can see the linkages between the resident and his counsel. So that's really good information to have if just to keep it all in one particular spot. And then, of course, what role he has within the inquiry and what groups he's been added to. So he was the first to call the 9991 phone call, and he was on floor 4 in flat 16. So that was information that we wanted to track for this particular person. So that's really helpful information for each person, for each profile. And then we're going to have a look at the issues. So same thing with issues, if we've got particular issues which are really important. So this is the sub chronology that we've prepared, which relates just to the progress of the fire, as opposed to the master chronology, which is the start to the end. So we've starred that as something that's very important. And of course, then you can click on that particular entry, and you can write notes about what this particular chronology about fire progress is about. You can see again information of where documents are stored about this particular issue in the documents tab or the chronology, and you can see any master file or documents that have been related to this particular tags. That's really helpful. But if you look at the 999 telephone calls and you look at your analysis tab, you're then going to get any people that are related to this particular issue. So, of course, the Grenfell Tower inquiry is going to be related. The London Fire Brigade is related because they're the people who take the 999 telephone calls, and all of the residents that called on that particular night will also be related to this particular issue. So you can see the related people and entities that relate to that issue, and any other related issues down the bottom. So I've got a task here to find some documents that relate to these particular issues. So that shows you that information there as well. And then, of course, if you flick to the chronology, you get a different set of information depending on what documents have been added to the documents tab or the chronology tab. So same with everywhere. If you want to search within here, you can certainly do that, and it will tell you, do you want to do a full text search or do you want to search on a tag name? And I'm going to search on a tag name to reduce my number of tags down. So that's really good. And the same with people, if I'm looking for a particular person, and let me just look for myself, because that is where we coded some documents to earlier. So you'll know that we added a document to the documents tab, and I added a tag to it which said Kate to find documents. So you'll see how that now relates to easy to add a document, and then when you add a tag to it or a profile to it, it'll create those particular profiles here or issue bundles here. So that's really, really easy to use. So that is the functionality of Everchron. I'm going to show you now, I'm going to flick over and share my other screen, which will show you this particular one here. This is going to show you how documents appear when you export them. So this is a report I've produced from Everchron. with the hyperlink documents. So when you export a report from Everchron, it will give you all of the information that is stored in Everchron that relates to that particular document. So if you wanted to only have maybe the headline and the summary and the hyperlink, you would just delete the other columns that relate to this particular document. And if we go down here, you will see that everything is nicely hyperlinked. You simply click on the hyperlink and up will come the document. So this is a really good bundle that you can then send off to whoever you would like to send it off to. And it produces this in a matter of minutes. So you simply hit export. It'll come and tell you when it's finished, so you don't have to sit and wait for it. And then, of course, you just edit the spreadsheet however you like. You put it in the format of your firm's, whatever your firm's style is, and then you send that set of documents off to each other. So if you just wanted to use Everchron to load documents up and have the ability to search across the documents and interact with them by annotating and commenting, and then the ability to export those documents off in a hyperlink list, then this is a really good software for you. Now I'm going to go back to my presentation now so we can finish off. Thank you all for coming today. We haven't got any questions at this particular stage, but if you have one, please pop it in the Q&A box now. If you need to contact us, please feel free to do so on any of the items listed on the screen. I really hope you enjoyed our presentation of Everchron today. We think it is really an amazing tool, and it cuts out a lot of that chronology preparation time. It enables you to share it with your client very easily and quickly, as opposed to having to email it back and forth. It is always up to date, and everything that you need to manage your case is stored in one place. So I hope you enjoyed our presentation today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Kate, for a very informative demonstration of Everchron. That was amazing. It was really interesting to see how Everchron can simply and easily build a chronology, connect chronology entries to issues, generate and update advanced witness files in real time, and manage, track, and collaborate around your case documents effectively. So as Kate said, if anybody has any questions after this session, she can be contacted on LinkedIn or on the ELMS website. So a huge thank you to everyone who has attended today. As you know, the Centre for Legal Innovation is very much focused on these types of webinars, this type of information sharing, collaboration and experience exchange. We are all about practical solutions. There will be more webinars coming up in the Legal Techy Tuesday series, so don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter or Facebook for announcements. We look forward to welcoming you back to one of our events, and thank you again very much for joining us today. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.